This is Population Health Weekly. We bring the science to your street. One small habit, one clear choice. Right where real lives meet. Every voice, every choice, every truth that we share.
In the 1950s, Britain's aviation industry was a global powerhouse. Jet engines, the world's first commercial jet airliner, the De Havilland Comet, and a workforce exceeding 300,000. Yet, within a decade, both civilian and military sectors lay in ruins. Fragmented supply chains, skill shortages, the Comet's structural failures, and the 1965 cancellation of the TSR 2 strike aircraft destroyed a global leader. The verdict of the 20th century manual stethoscope, applied by historians and economists to the patient that was Britain's aviation industry, diagnosed a failure of governance, integration, and long term vision. That same pattern, fragmentation, skill gaps, governance failures, now looms as a serious risk for digital or e health. Will we learn from history or repeat it?
Every voice, every choice, every truth that we share. Public health is everywhere.
Welcome to Population Health Weekly with me, Shahnur Azhar, and my co host, Erin Rodgers.
Hello, Shanor, and welcome to all of our listeners everywhere. Shanor, the feedback from the show on July 17, Pipes, Pixels, and Pedagogy, has been growing.
That's great news. This is a listener led program, and if you have something to read to us, please do the honors.
Neelafur from Pakistan suggested two broad topics for our future shows. One of them is distracted driving and road safety, while the other is the mental health of medical students and practitioners.
Thank you, Nilofer. Your message is well received. We are keen to hear from all of you as we continue with the final episode of Click, Care, Connect. We have traveled from automation anxiety to regulatory promise, tracked infrastructure's footprint on e waste workers, and visited e health projects in India, Rwanda, and Spain. We have been with the family, the Al Rashids, throughout. So, in our final episode, we ask, after all this evidence, what is the verdict? Not a simple one, but a clear one.
Regular listeners are already familiar with the Triad, a shorter but gripping segment on three biomedical updates. That will be in the second half of today's show. And my three keywords for today are scientific publishing, community based cancer care, and health assistance. Shanor, let's welcome back the Al Rashids as they recount healthcare experiences in their community.
The Al Rashids have found cautious footing. Laila has mastered the app. Her local clinic now offers a callback. Her husband Umar has found an insurance plan covering both telemedicine and in person visits. The whole family's records are being digitalized, with privacy training now available. The five pillars patients, hospitals, manufacturers, insurers, governments are beginning to align. Not perfectly, but measurably. We have already shared with you the verdict of manual stethoscope applied to the patient Britain's aviation industries of 20th century. The verdict of digital stethoscope on e-health begins with the physical foundations we have built. Consider our infrastructure. Data centers consume water and electricity at rates that rival small cities. As we explored in episode 3, wearables that extend care eventually become e-waste, poisoning communities in the global south. The question is not whether we can afford to power these facilities, but whether we can afford not to power them sustainably. Solar powered digital health facilities are proving feasible in rural Kenya. Burundi has inaugurated its first solar powered, digitally monitored health facility. The technology exists, the economics are improving. But without strategic integration across the energy grid, hardware, and workforce, we risk building infrastructure that serves only the connected few. But building infrastructure is not enough. Is it really delivering value to everyone? In high income settings, returns are likely and visible. A data collection culture confirming reduced hospital admissions, faster diagnosis, better chronic disease management. In lower income settings with undercapacity, returns are fragile, dependent on connectivity, literacy, and trust. The lessons from India's telemedicine platform, Rwanda's drones, and Andalucia's integrated care network, covered in episode 4, remind us that context matters. E health of today can learn from what failed the aviation powerhouse of 20th century Britain despite their sprawling factories, testing airfields, and research hubs across England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Succeeding in the e health economy requires knowing the modern consumer and understanding of disease patterns. It requires participation of credible health talent and end user perspectives in the product development process right from the very beginning. But that requires a major shift in the manufacturing culture. Without diversifying product development teams, even a known brand today risks losses, overall distrust, and costly legal battles. Consider this scenario. Millions of elderly individuals with hearing and vision impairments would find a household digital clinical thermometer much more useful if it had a standardized voice feature, large numeric fonts for easy reading, and a well designed, high resolution display. This is just one small example of the enormous yet untapped demand for e health gadgetry for daily use worldwide. Collaborative product development fosters creativity and builds user trust. Regulators and governments must step in, not as overseers, but as enablers. And if a mutually agreeable access framework could also be established to analyze the de identified health data currently guarded by insurers, the entire economy can leap ahead. Timely regulation is not optional, it is a lifesaver. Digital or e health stands at the same crossroads as Australia in 1971, when it mandated seatbelt use and led the way for all of us. While regulations provide framework, evidence provides direction. By early 2024, the number of interventional trials registered worldwide were nearing a million, mostly randomized controlled trials, the gold standard. But evidence without strategy is an aircraft without a flight plan. We need a real time strategy to observe e health's impact beyond clinical outcomes, and that includes health of the workforce, environmental costs, and equity gaps. And a clear strategy to prevent unexpected harm of our inventions make regulations far more credible. So, what's the verdict? Digital or e health is not a destination, it is a direction. It offers unprecedented opportunities to extend care, improve diagnosis, and empower patients. But it also carries risks, not just data breaches or algorithmic bias, but new health burdens we have barely begun to measure. More on it next month. Affordable quality healthcare transcends political and cultural divides. The challenge is the same everywhere: how to deliver care that is effective, equitable, and sustainable. Manual systems, lost files, delayed data must not be repeated. We can build something better, but only if we learn from the past. The seatbelt teaches us that technology without regulation is incomplete. The clinical trial registry teaches us that evidence without transparency is fragile. The Al Rashids teach us that progress without humanity is hollow. But Al Rashids have also found balance. They are adapting. Can we do the same? Not as individuals, but as societies. Can we build a digital health ecosystem that serves everyone, not just the connected? Can we learn from the dramatic decline of Britain's aviation sector, drug development lapses, and e waste crisis? Can we move faster, smarter, and more humanely? All answers to these questions start by not retreating from technology, but to embrace it with eyes wide open. That means investing in renewable energy to power infrastructure, mandating worker retraining on newer toolkits, and developing equitable digital devices, particularly those that advance self care for everyone, like household clinical thermometers. And by supporting population health weekly, the evidence is clear, the tools are here, the direction is ours to choose. Join us next month with a brand new series.
That's fascinating. Algorithms have indeed opened up a world of possibilities and inquiries. And a big shout out to the team and frequent listeners on the conclusion of our second series. And now it's time to remind you of the 3 key words: scientific publishing, community-based cancer care, and health assistance. They hint at the Triad, a fortnightly series of 3 biomedical updates, beginning with imagining a world of creaking filing cabinets and postal submissions just 2 decades ago. Then came the digital avalanche. According to the STM report of 2023, over 15,000 medical journals exist online today, up from roughly 3,000 at the turn of the century. According to NCBI PubMed, more than 1.5 million peer-reviewed medical articles are published annually worldwide. Print copies have vanished. Some journals charge high APCs to fund rigorous review and archiving, staying subscription-based. Others embrace open access, making content free to readers. The difference? Who pays? Caution though, predatory journals mimic legitimacy. Always verify via DOAJ, Medline, or COPE. And in our second story, we'll be taking a look at a noteworthy health event in Andalusia. The 7th Congreso Andaluz de Pacientes con Cáncer y Familiares, held on March 6, 2026 at IFAJA Jaén, gathered over 500 attendees to focus on humanizing oncology care and improving patient quality of life. Organized by the Asociación Española contra el Cáncer, or AECC, the event covered topics ranging from clinical innovations to emotional wellness and equitable care access. The conference, which included expert panels and interactive workshops, aimed to strengthen support networks for patients and their families in Andalusia. Attendees can access these materials through the AECC YouTube channel. A detailed program of upcoming congresses is available on the association's website. And now, global health assistance, donor support to developing nations. Rich countries and multilateral organizations provide over $40 billion annually in global health assistance, prioritizing infectious disease control for HIV, TB, malaria, maternal and child health, vaccines, and health system strengthening. Top donors include the United States through USAID and PEBFAR, the Global Fund, Gavi, the European Commission, and the World Bank. Leading participants are Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, with Nigeria, India, and Kenya among the largest. Recent cuts to U.S. aid, amounting in nearly $2 billion, have disrupted supply chains, halted HIV treatment outreach, and delayed immunization campaigns in dozens of low-income countries. This shortfall has not been fully offset by other donors, threatening hard-won gains. Experts warn that without sustained investment, progress toward universal health coverage and epidemic control could reverse significantly. That's all for this week, folks. I'm Erin Rodgers. Join us next week when we talk about completely new categories of exposures, outcomes, and biases.
Technical support for this show is provided by Wahab Shahid. Podcast logo, theme music, creative and production advice is given by Imran Babar. Erin Rodgers is our editorial associate. Population Health Weekly is led by its listeners, and they are invited to participate in any competent way they can. If interested, email us at info@ideas.org.s, info@ideas.org.es.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Population Health Weekly, where you can also post your thoughts, comments, and imaginations. You can also subscribe to our monthly newsletter on our website, ideas.org.es. It's free. You can also donate to us through ideas.org.es and the hosting platform rss.com. All contributions will be dedicated to improving the quality of this show. The transcript of the show will be available as soon as it's posted via rss.com. If Population Health Weekly sounded interesting to you, then spread the word.
Special thanks to Junta de Andalucía and Gobierno de España for their support to Autónomos that made this production possible.